be willing to hop on with two crazy ladies on a golf cart?
Let's do it.
All
I love it. Hurry
on.
How's it going?
Great.
All right, are we ready to roll?
We're
I
ready
think
to
we're
roll.
ready. Bye. This is Dr. Tracy Nichols with Dr. Pam Gray, and we are two crazy ladies on a golf cart. And here with us today is our very special VIP guest, Coach Healy. Coach Healy, we're so glad you could jump on with us this morning.
Yeah, I'm glad to.
Welcome to
I
the golf
appreciate
cart.
y'all inviting me.
Yeah, so congratulations on our third win in a row.
How about that?
That is amazing. Doesn't that just feel totally awesome?
It was an awesome weekend. It really was. It was a lot of fun.
I heard on 104.5 this morning
Hey guys. There's some of our coaches right over there. Coach Dawkins and Coach Hicks.
Hey!
Hello.
Congratulations!
They deserve the
We'll
credit.
take you for a ride later.
You're next.
All right.
Two crazy ladies on a golf cart.
We'll go up the wrong way of the parking lot. That's
That's
okay.
So what I was saying is I heard on 104.5 this morning, Mark Howard and his crew said that the Govs were the only winning Tennessee football team this weekend. Did you know that?
Including professionally.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think Carson Newman and Maryville College also won. But
Well, they
we
must
were
not have known that
we
because
were
they
the
only gave
only-
us a shout out.
we were the only Division I or professional team to win this weekend. So the exposure's been awesome, and people, it's kind of the Cinderella story of college football right now. So I've had a lot of fun being a part of it.
Well, it's clear, Coach, that you have motivated these players to come out of 29 losses before we have our 3 wins, correct?
That is correct.
So I guess what I'd like to know, and what I want people who watch this to know, is clearly you're a motivator, but what motivates you?
I think to be able to watch these kids have success, and for what they do to be taken seriously, and to feel like they've had the best possible experience they could have at Austin Peay motivates me, to make sure that there's Tyler Reed. Hey Tyler! To make sure that these coaches who took a shot and came here with me, that they can have success and this experience is worthwhile for them. Obviously, I feel so strongly about Dr. White and Ryan Ivy that all I want to do is make them proud. And so, for me, I was fortunate enough, even with 2 parents who were unbelievably supportive, I still had coaches in my life who made a big difference. And, we have a lot of guys on our team who are from single parent households or don't have a dad or whatever it is. So to try to be able to make an influence in their life is very motivating for me.
Well, I know you won't toot your own horn, but it's pretty impressive to come into Austin Peay as you have, really technically less than 2 years. This is your 2nd season in, right?
Correct.
And to make such a huge impact and difference so early on, because you inherit that first season, don't you inherit that previous coach's team basically, so you work with what you're given. So this is your first full season of you, right?
Yeah, it is, and we recruited some guys as part of last year's class that were here, and so we probably had 30 or 35 that were part of the roster that we had recruited, but you had an overwhelming majority that had been here, and which is not a bad thing. It's just it's really hard to get them out of the funk of how bad it had been and how many losses they'd had. So that was challenging to get them to buy into your new culture and the way you wanted to do things. But that makes it so much more rewarding when those kids can have success this year. I wish the kids last year could have had the same success. But I think our kids have put in the work to have success, and that's the difference between this year and last year. Whether it's off-season conditioning or the weight room or whatever it is, they've given themselves a chance to be successful, and it's starting to pay off.
And they totally have buy-in to the coaching staff and what's happening with the program and your approach. Otherwise, we wouldn't be winning if they didn't have buy-in to what you are giving them as a coach and your coaching staff.
Well, the one thing to me that I've learned is that I have kind of a broader picture of everything, that it's really my job to make sure I motivate coaches who then really motivate our players. So, I felt like I did one thing right in my first year, and that was I hired right. And then I think our coaches and our strength staff have done such a good job of motivating our players to make sure they did buy in. And you're just now seeing the fruits of some of that labor right now.
Right, because good leaders surround themselves with good people, right? You can't be a good leader unless you have that team that's just as good as you are.
I'm overrated. I hired the best staff I've ever been around, so that's what it's about to me. And if there's one thing that I did understand, it's you got to surround yourself with people who won't let you fail, and I've been lucky to do that.
Excellent. So since you've been at Austin Peay, outside of football, what's your favorite thing about Austin Peay?
Well, outside of Dr. White and Ryan Ivy, this community to me is incredible. I think we have a really unique bond because this city revolves around what Austin Peay does. You know, I've been at Chattanooga and I've been at Richmond, where it was a little bit more of a social event. You know, the people here are diehards. There are no bandwagon Austin Peay fans, and the community's been extremely supportive of us from the get-go, even without showing them the wins on the scoreboard. But I think that the way this community has embraced Austin Peay is really special, and it's unlike anywhere else I've ever been.
I think it's exactly what you said, is the sense of community and inclusion. It's pretty awesome. So for those who may not know a lot about you other than the fact that you're a football coach, what was your undergraduate major in college?
I was a rhetoric and communications major.
See, I did my research. I knew that.
At the University of Richmond. That's exactly right.
Wonderful.
I went in, and Richmond's got one of the top 5 business schools in the country, and I went in and said I was going to be a business major. And I took my first statistics class, and I quickly found out I was not meant to be a business major. I don't do math very well either. But yeah, rhetoric and communications. I encourage all of our kids to take public speaking classes and because it's about presenting yourself, and whether it's a speech in front of 250 people or whether it's a speech in front of one person trying to get hired. I think the communication aspect of it is something that can always come in handy.
Absolutely. So tell us 3 interesting things about yourself that people may not know if they did some internet research or whatever, just things that you think it would be interesting and maybe unique or unusual.
That you're willing to share.
That you're willing to share.
that I won't get hired for.
Right.
And the internet is forever.
That's a really good question. Let's see, 3 unique. I think one of the things that I don't talk about a whole lot, but you could still look it up. I signed out of high school with the Air Force Academy, and went to the prep school, and I was probably one of the worst soldiers you could ever be. I went for the wrong reason. I went to go play college football, and I quickly found out that the commitment there is a lot more than about football. I was kind of young and dumb, and they were ranked in the top 20 in the country and thought it'd be a great football experience, but I realized there's a lot more to it than that. And I think that has given me an enormous amount of appreciation for what we have at Fort Campbell and our military background in our town. Those guys are a lot tougher than I am. Guys and girls are a lot tougher than I am, and have so much respect for what they do. Grew up a big Georgia Tech fan, which like an Austin Peay fan, you can't be a bandwagon Georgia Tech fan. So I grew up going to football games and basketball games, and had a great experience pulling those guys on, and my dad, uncle, and granddad all played there. So that's been, the Yellow Jackets have been close to my heart for a long time. Let's see, something else. Obviously the best thing I got going is I got the best wife and almost 3-year-old little boy that there is. My little boy Eli is at practice all the time. My wife is the rock. She keeps it all together. I started dating my wife in 7th grade.
Oh wow!
We were at
she knew what she was getting.
Yeah.
Well, I knew
No
I had to lock her
surprises.
down quick. I don't have. I did not have enough game to be able to find somebody after 7th grade, so I had to make sure I locked her down in a hurry. But there was a newcomer. She was new to my middle school, and there was a newcomer party, and I saw her, and she had a fast pitch softball shirt on, and I told my best friend, I said, I'm going after fast pitch softball. And so 15 years later, we got married, and had we now have a 3-year-old, so I had to grow up in a hurry.
That's amazing.
Do you want to give us a tour of the new facility?
Yeah, let's do it.
On our golf cart? Can I get through down here?
Absolutely. I think that gate
If
should be
not,
open.
we'll get out. I've been known to get in spots where I can't get out of.
Oh, I think she'll be good.
Just to be prepared.
But we have football players, so they can stick the little sucker up
Get
there.
back and lift it.
They know how big time the show is, so I'm sure somebody will get us out.
Hey,
Open.
uh-oh. All right,
Oh.
off-roading.
That may
Is that
be
okay?
tough. You want me to move some of this
No,
stuff?
we can off-road. If you just hang on, I don't want to damage
I'll be
you,
okay.
'cause if I damage you, I'm fired.
No.
Doesn't matter if I have tenure or not. I'm kidding me.
Done.
Oh, one and done.
Ooh, you all right back there?
I'm in good shape.
Who knows if our microphones are
We got some off-roading tires on this bad boy.
well, we don't know if we do or not, but we're making
We're gonna
it.
find
How about these
out.
new suites down here?
Oh,
Oh,
amazing.
aren't they awesome?
That was a-
Absolutely amazing.
I wish we could do it. Well, we can. We can.
There's our offensive coordinator right there, Coach Satterfield. Hello,
Hey,
Coach
Coach.
Satterfield.
Come on down, get on camera.
There's that two crazy ladies on a golf cart. Would you like to add anything? He doesn't like that title very much.
He doesn't like that. Does that frighten him?
I think it.
I think it would frighten
Oh.
most people.
He'll warm
All
up.
right, big bump here. Big bump here. All right.
We have such a beautiful
They
stadium.
edit this, okay? That's sorry.
Oh no.
Okay, let's go this way. Can you tell us all about our new suites? Or what
You
are
gotta
they? Or they refer to them as? The-
Suites is
Okay.
good.
Oh, is it?
We call them just the end zone suites.
Okay.
But we'll have to show a good picture of them whenever we do the show. They can show one of them open. They look really good.
They
Right
are
now,
amazing.
right now they look like movable storage.
They do. They look like the kind of thing that they
Pods.
put in your house pods. Yes.
Yeah.
Load 'em and-
But so Ryan, this was a Ryan Ivy idea. There were a lot of schools in Texas that were using these as tailgate opportunities. So they would have them in the parking lot and things like that. And Ryan saw one of them, and he thought, we're looking for something to enclose this area and kind of make it a little bit more of a bowl shape. So he added them. We purchased 5 of them, and I think after the first game especially, the people around here have gone nuts about them. So I'm trying to talk them into putting them on the other side as well. But they're packed. They come with 20 tickets and 4 parking passes for each home game.
Wow.
They got that you can go up there, and it's got a putting green on the very top of it.
Oh, wow.
And then it's got umbrellas and everything where you can sit up on top and watch the game. It's got, you know, a microwave, a grill on the side. It's got a keg in there, and I mean, so.
Does it have like a roof that comes out?
Well, the middle part of it folds down.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
you can sit at the bar area there and watch the game, but
Cool.
it's added a lot to the environment and the experience. at our home
Absolutely.
game.
How much fun to be just right down on
know.
the field.
You can't get a better
Basically,
seat than that.
yeah.
And I'm sure they haven't had any problem selling them out.
No, they
No.
sold out quick,
They
didn't they?
sold them out.
They're gone for the whole rest
They're
of the
gone
season,
for the
aren't they?
year.
Right.
Yep.
They've done a really good. So between that and the suites up top, you know, I think the premium style seating has been a big hit, and you know, there's a lot of people who are wanting to be in those areas. So Ryan's done a really good job with that. That was a great idea. So now I'm trying to push the envelope and get a couple more down here.
I think that's a wonderful idea to push it and get a few more. As popular as it already is, why not,
I
right?
agree.
Absolutely.
So this is where we run in before the game. We come in right down here, and then they put the big helmet up, and our guys are able to see what the atmosphere looks. Where
They
last
come in
year
from this end now?
we come in from over here.
Okay.
Y'all got to come to that game.
I got
I
you.
There's
know.
been 2 home games,
I
and y'all don't
know.
even know where we come in.
I
Y'all got to
know.
come this
I
week.
know. We're
But I always
bad.
promote it.
We're crazy
Jill
enough.
Pace is in one of my
Right,
classes,
right.
and I always tell everybody in class, go to the game, support
But
him.
you got to do what you
I
say.
know.
That's like me telling them that they got to go to sleep, and I don't go to sleep myself.
My only excuse is I do live an hour away. That's my only excuse. But I promise I'm going to make it one because I love sports, and I love Austin Peay football.
We'll get you,
So-
and we'll get you to be an honorary captain at one of the games. And then we'll
Oh,
make sure that you come.
hey!
Go kart, look out.
There we go.
So yeah, we come in down there, and then this is called the Walk of Champions right behind us, and our guys will walk through the weight room, which to me is why we are winning games, because of what they're doing in the weight room. And we walk through there, and then we're able to see what the crowd looks like and see the atmosphere, and They play a really good intro video on the scoreboard, and then our guys run out and take the field and get ready to go. You can see over here, these are the ramps coming out of the new weight room and training room. So our guys are able to go straight from working out to the field to do any type of speed work or anything like that they need to do. So we have a great facility, and the environment. We've broken the attendance record the last 2 weeks.
Yes, that's so awesome.
Now we got the number 5 team in the country coming in, so we should break it again. We should sell it out.
Absolutely should. You know, you mentioned strength and conditioning, and I think that's so underrated sometimes when people look at football, don't you think?
I think it's the most important hire that I've made. Our strength staff does the best job of anybody in the country, and the gains that these guys have made in the weight room has made them confident enough where they can go out and win big games like they did Saturday. So I think it's the most important part of what we have going on. It has single-handedly changed our culture in the way that kids think and work and how mentally tough they are, because they've fought through a lot of the same battles you're facing on Saturday. They've already defeated those battles on, during the summer and the off season.
I don't think we've mentioned it yet. We mentioned the 3 wins in a row, but Saturday's win was over a ranked team.
That's right.
I mean, it just, the accolades and kudos just continue to increase because that's so impressive.
It was a big win. We have the Sergeant York Trophy, which is among the 4 Tennessee teams. So it's us, Tennessee Tech, UT Martin, and Tennessee State. And our place has never won the Sergeant York Trophy, so that was a big goal of ours heading into the season. And beat Martin, they were a conference favorite to win the league this year. So that was a big step, and now we got 2 more to go to be able to accomplish that goal. They were ranked anywhere from number 14 to number 21 in the country. And first ranked win since 2009, and to do it at home was extra special. So they're playing with a lot of confidence, and obviously the stakes get higher this week when the number 5 team comes in.
Oh, of course they do. Of course it does. So a quick question I have for you is, outside of Austin Peay, of course, who's your favorite professional football team? Do you have one?
Well, when I was growing up, there were no Titans. It was the Atlanta Falcons. That was the closest. So I grew up in Chattanooga, and the Falcons were 2 hours down the road. I have since adopted the Titans, and we've been lucky enough as a staff to go down to the Titans a couple times and go watch their practice. And I really believe in their leadership. I think Coach Malarkey's been awesome to our staff, and John Robinson and some of those guys. So I pull for the Titans. I've been lucky. I was the NFL liaison when I was in Chattanooga and met a bunch of scouts and guys that are working at different places, and I pull for their teams whenever I see them. But I'm a Titans fan. I wish I got to watch more NFL football. I probably watch, until our season's over, I hardly get to watch any. But I always check the Titans score and pull for them.
Right. So if you what would be your favorite trick play? Maybe that you've seen or would love at some crazy point in your career to execute. Is there a trick play that's one of your favorites?
There's a trick play that we have. It's called Healy pass.
Oh, should you
And
divulge
it's
information?
well, it's okay.
Well, that's why I said if it was something he'd seen or, at some point,
that's okay. If Jacksonville State's watching 2 crazy ladies on a golf cart, then we're really in their head.
Okay.
But we actually, my senior year in college, we played Northern Iowa in the semifinals of the national championship playoffs, and they ran a play against us that I loved, and they really should have scored and put us away, but they dropped it. So I thought that play's been really good to me because they dropped it. I love the design of the play. We're going to execute it better than what anybody else is doing. So we ran it when we were at Chattanooga, and I put my name behind it because I like the play so much, and then we've run it here. We ran it against TSU last year, and it went for about 60 yards. So
oh, wow.
We have to pull it out at the opportune time, but that's my favorite play.
So big week this week, right? Planning for
Big
your
week.
next opponent.
We play Jacksonville State at home on Saturday at 4 p.m. There's our receivers coach, Todd Pinkston, right there. Hey, Coach Pinkston.
Hey, Coach. Hello.
Coach Pinkston was a 7-year NFL veteran, played for the Philadelphia Eagles, played in the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb. He had 4 catches for 87 yards, He did miss 3 blocks in that game, which I've been clear to point out to
He
him.
could have talked all day long without saying that. Hi.
So nice to meet you,
Nice to
Coach.
meet you.
Tracy Nichols, very nice to meet you.
He's a celebrity. It's called Two Crazy Women on a Golf Cart is the name of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What
So
time do
go
we
around
air? What time's it?
Lots of
Well,
different times.
Yeah. We'll let you know.
We'll get a
We'll get you
schedule
the
too.
schedule.
Yeah.
Okay, you can watch.
You
Nice
can
to
let the
meet
team
you.
watch it.
We'll
We'll
get
back
it.
up his messages.
This show is sponsored by
Right.
Todd Pinkston Incorporated.
All right, you think I can get through there?
I think so. I
You
think
think I can get through that
so.
hole? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
You want to turn back around and go
Yeah.
I
back the
got to
way we
reverse from
came?
this sucker. Hang on. We'll go back four-wheeling again like we did before?
I don't think we've scared Coach too much yet.
No, I'm good. Y'all have done a great job.
I wonder what the students would want us to do to him. Wow. The players, like, you got him on a golf cart.
Yeah.
Here's what you need to
I'm
do
sure
today.
everybody in Clarksville would have had you run me off the road a year ago.
I think they know enough that they had to give you a chance, and you far exceeded the expectations in the amount of time that you've been with us.
Yeah, I think people who know football know, like I said earlier, your first year in, you're getting acclimated to your new environment, to your football players, to your staff. I mean, that's
Yeah, to your school.
yeah, to your
I mean,
school. It's just so much.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
All right, good deal. All right. Anything else you want us to talk about?
The only other question I had was when you're not coaching football, thinking about football, living football, and like spending time with your family, what's your favorite thing to do? I know. He's passed out, right? So what would be your favorite thing to do that's non-football related?
One of my favorite parts about being fortunate enough to be a head coach is I've been able to incorporate family with everything we do. And I mean, if there's 15 minutes in the day that they can come over to the offices or run around. I mean, we look like a daycare on the 4th floor as much as we look like anything at times because there's so many kids running around and there's wives up there and we have family dinners and date night and all that type of stuff. So spending time with family is something, you're in a profession where a lot of people tell you that you can't be a really good husband, father, and football coach. You got to pick one. And
But that's not the truth, though,
not
is
the
it?
truth at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fun part about what we're doing is we're trying to change that perception, and we've been successful with it thus far. But everybody on our staff feels like it's a lot more important to be a father and a husband than it is just to be a football coach. But I think you can be great at all three.
Excellent. I tend to agree with you. I think you can too.
And obviously, you made that a priority.
It is a priority. Absolutely. The last thing I want to do is, win 100 games, but not get to see my son win one.
Yeah.
And I think it's a part of how we do things, and I hired a staff that feels the same way, so that's what makes it fun.
Perfect. Thank you so much for
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.